Welcome back to the channel. Let's get real for a moment. While the entire cryptocurrency world is chasing meme coins, hyping Layer 2 solutions, and arguing about which blockchain will finally fix Ethereum, something very different is happening under the radar. There's a blockchain quietly outperforming most of the top 10, not in some test environment or beta phase, but live, right now, processing over 1,000 transactions per second without breaking a sweat. Yet somehow, it's still trading at prices that honestly don't make sense. I'm talking about the Internet Computer Protocol, ICP. It just processed more transactions than several major blockchains combined. Developers are pouring in, and the ecosystem keeps expanding. But if you look at the chart, the price doesn't reflect any of it. By the end of this video, you'll understand why some investors are predicting a 13x surge from current levels, while others believe it could sink all the way down to $2.50 before the real move begins. Stick around, because the data we're about to explore might completely change how you see ICP. This video is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not financial advice. Always do your own research and consult a professional before making any investment decisions. Every crypto bull market follows a familiar script. Bitcoin and Ethereum rally first, sucking up all the attention and liquidity. Then, as profits start rotating, altcoins begin their parabolic moves. The capital flows downward. We've seen it time and time again. And when that happens again, reaching a $27 billion market cap for ICP isn't some fantasy number pulled from thin air. It's a realistic target in a strong bull cycle. The groundwork has already been laid. The infrastructure exists, the technology is battle-tested, and the network is running smoothly. What's missing is recognition. The question is simple. Will the market finally wake up to what's actually been built before the next big wave hits? Now, let's address the point that critics never stop bringing up: inflation. Yes, ICP's inflation rate this year has been steep, around 14%, which is undeniably high. It's been one of the biggest concerns among holders and analysts. But here's the nuance that most people overlook. The token unlock schedule is complete. The circulating supply has now caught up with the total supply. In other words, there are no more massive unlocks coming. This means next year, inflation is projected to drop to roughly 3%, a dramatic slowdown that's already visible in the data. Charts clearly show the inflation curve flattening out. That's a major shift. But there's still one catch. See, token holders who staked ICP, known as stakers, can claim their rewards at any time, and if price momentum returns, tens of millions of tokens could hit the market as people take profits. A well-known crypto analyst recently warned that real inflation might temporarily spike to 5 to 6% during a recovery phase as those staked rewards are sold off. That's why some investors are cautious. They're waiting for demand to catch up before the selling pressure eases. Without strong utility or meaningful token sinks, that supply flow can weigh heavily on short-term price action. Now let's talk about something uncomfortable and probably necessary. There's a real possibility ICP could dip down to around $2.50 before reversing higher. Why? To wipe out over-leveraged traders. Right now, there's more than $5 billion worth of long positions hanging in the balance. And if you've been in crypto long enough, you already know how this game works. The market loves to hunt leverage. It finds the pain point, crushes the greed, and resets the board. Once that happens, the stage is often set for the next leg up. So while a move down to $2.50 would sting for current holders, it could also create a once-in-a-cycle opportunity for new investors waiting on the sidelines. Here's where things get interesting. Despite all the bearish noise, ICP just proved again that it's the fastest major blockchain right now. Over 1,082 transactions per second, consistently. While Ethereum continues juggling its endless roll-up strategies and Solana wrestles with decentralization drama, ICP is simply executing. No gimmicks, no hype, just raw throughput. At this point, there's no debate about whether the tech works. It absolutely does. The real question now is, when will the market finally notice? The momentum is building. Since the release of the Electric Capital 2024 developer report, over 500 new developers have joined ICP, and around 350 builders chose to build exclusively on it instead of competing chains like Solana or Ethereum. Think about that for a second. Hundreds of developers looking at all the options available and still deciding ICP is the better foundation for their apps. And it doesn't stop there. Reports are circulating about a major update involving Caffeine AI, where users will soon be able to push app code directly to GitHub. Imagine what happens when 1 million small projects start doing that. ICP's developer visibility could explode overnight. This kind of organic growth is what eventually forces the market to reprice an asset. When people finally pay attention to developer activity instead of short-term price moves, the whole perception shifts. Let's be honest, ICP has a reputation problem. When it launched, the hype was massive, expectations were unrealistic, and when the price crashed, the narrative turned toxic. Since then, many investors wrote it off as just another failed experiment. But the truth is, the project has quietly evolved far beyond that early stage. The protocol has matured, the ecosystem has expanded, the technology has proven itself repeatedly under real-world conditions. Yet the market still judges ICP as if it were 2021 all over again. That's what I call a perception trap. And in crypto, perception often lags behind reality. That lag creates opportunity, massive opportunity, for investors who look beyond the noise. Let's get something straight. Nothing in crypto is ever guaranteed. The future of ICP will depend on adoption, innovation, and whether the team continues delivering at the pace they've set. But there are strong signals pointing in the right direction. Developer engagement is rising, network activity is robust, inflation concerns are tapering off. The foundation is stronger than ever. Some analysts even believe ICP might be entering what's known as a hated asset reversal. It's a familiar pattern. The market collectively gives up on an asset, the sentiment turns extremely negative, and then, seemingly out of nowhere, it stages a huge comeback. Maybe that turning point comes from a viral app built on ICP. Maybe it happens when Ethereum gas fees skyrocket again, forcing developers to look for alternatives. Or maybe it's just the next bull cycle, breathing life back into every fundamentally strong but overlooked project. Whatever the catalyst ends up being, these reversals tend to move fast once they start. Let's talk risk-reward for a second. If ICP crashes to $2.50, that's brutal for existing holders, but for newcomers, it could be a golden entry point. If the token later rallies to $50 in a bullish environment, that's roughly a 20x return. And if the stars align and we see a euphoric full-blown bull market with ICP hitting $150 again, we're talking about life-changing upside. But, and this part matters, those gains only go to the people who survive the volatility, stay patient, and avoid leverage. This is a long game, not a quick flip. We've unpacked a lot here, from inflation and token dynamics to developer growth and future catalysts. The story of ICP is layered. Yes, it's controversial. Yes, the sentiment is mixed. But assets that divide opinion and still keep building in the background often deliver the biggest surprises. Whether that surprise happens at $2.50, $50, or even $150, time will decide. What matters now is understanding the real fundamentals behind the noise. A functioning blockchain running over 1,000 transactions per second, a developer base that keeps growing, and a technology stack that's years ahead of most of its peers. ICP's future remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. The gap between perception and reality can't stay this wide forever, and when that gap closes, it's going to be one of the most fascinating stories in the entire crypto space. So, what do you think about ICP's current position? Are you bullish on its growth in AI and DeFi? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found value in this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more breakdowns like this. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay cautious, and I'll catch you in the next one.